Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Caleb Thornton and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a quick comparison between the Razer Viper Mini and then the Deathadder V2 Mini, which are both Razer's mini offerings. So we're going to talk about some of the similarities and also the key differences. If you guys want to check out detailed reviews on either one of these, I'll have those linked down in the description below, but let's hop right into it. Starting off with pricing, the Razer Deathadder V2 Mini comes in at $50, so putting it $10 over the cost of the Viper Mini, which comes in at only $40. So if price is your only concern, well, obviously the Viper Mini is going to take the cake as far as that goes. Out of the box though, besides getting your normal things like your Razer stickers and instruction pamphlets, the Deathadder does come with optional stick-on grips. Would have been really nice to see that also coming with the Viper Mini, so that is a nice inclusion that you only get with the Deathadder Mini. Moving on to weight and build quality, the weight on these is so close that I would say it's very negligible unless you can tell the difference between like 2 grams, with the Viper Mini coming in at a little bit lighter, between like 60 and 61, and the Deathadder V2 Mini being around 62 grams, so obviously you're still getting both a really lightweight performance there, and I would say that difference doesn't even matter unless you can really actually tell that small amount of difference. As far as like the shell plastic on both of them, they kind of have that PBT keycap feel, and they are both the same. And that way, if you used a Razer mouse before, you've probably felt that and you know what it feels like. Or if you have a PBT keycap, very similar to that. I find the side panels to be a little bit slippery for my liking. That's why it's very nicely included that grip, extra grips with the V2 Mini for the Deathadder version. There is none included with this, but as you can see, I do have some aftermarket grips on it right now, as well as a paracord. And if you want to watch a video of me doing that on the Viper Mini, I'll have that linked in the description down below as well. The design similarities as far as the shell itself does pretty much end there, with the plastic being around the same texture. Obviously, each respective one pulling things from their full-size counterparts, with the Viper Mini kind of having that split in the middle of the shell where it goes up to mouse 1 and 2, and also having smaller mouse buttons on the side, as well as less contoured clicks. Whereas moving over to the Razer Deathadder V2 Mini, you have those full top shell, separated side panels, those bigger, more chunky side buttons, which I really enjoy, as well as getting those more deep engravings in those grooves for that ergonomic shape. For stock cables on both these guys, you are going to be getting Razer SpeedFlex cable, and if you used it before, you know, it's not the best, it's not the worst either. Definitely pretty stiff, not allowing for like the most flexibility. If you do throw it up in a bungee though, not too bad. As you guys can see, I do have the paracord, or I did paracord my Razer Viper Mini, and I'll be showing some footage on top of me talking here of the difference between that SpeedFlex cable versus a high quality paracord. Definitely a big difference there, but again, you can make it by the SpeedFlex cable, but if you really want to take it to the next level, definitely recommend looking to paracording both of these. For the biggest part here, and probably what's going to pull people in one way or the other, is going to be on the shape here. With the Viper Mini, we have this ambi. I mean, it is an ambi shape, but it only has buttons on that left side, so it's not really meant for left-handed users, so I would say it's a right-handed mouse, but overall the shape itself is ambi. And then with the Deathadder, of course, we have that shrunken down right-handed ergonomic mouse. Starting off with the Razer Viper Mini, this is going to be really well suited for those of you who like to use claw to fingertip style grip, as the size itself just really naturally lends itself to that, having those nice subtle curves to help you lock into that grip style. Those of you with smaller hands could probably get into a palm grip on this though. For me, with bigger hands, I found it to be too small. Overall though, I really love the Viper shape for that nice claw. I find it really gives you that good balance with that ambi shape, opening it up to a large range of hand sizes as well as grip styles. Moving on to the Deathadder shape, I just really cannot get myself to enjoy this. And it's not that I don't like the full-size Deathadder shape, because I absolutely love that. I just really don't feel like this was ever meant to be shrunk down. For me personally, I can't even get to a claw grip on this, whereas with the Viper Mini, I just feel like it gives you so much more room to work with there. Since you do have those, like taking from the bigger model Deathadder, you still get those nice big curves, the dips and the grooves on the right and left mouse clicks. So it really does kind of force you down into that one position as you'd get with an ergonomic mouse. But with it being in that smaller form factor, it's really shrunk down and also narrows the amount of room you have for your hand. And for me, it just puts me right into a fingertip grip. So if you are planning on picking this up, just make sure if you have a bigger hand, or even on the bigger side of medium, I would say, because this thing is so stinking small, that you're gonna like using a fingertip grip with a right-handed ergonomic mouse. But again, those of you with smaller hands, this is gonna open up more styles or grip types for you to explore with. So I'd say it'd probably be better suited for smaller hands for sure. But if you do have bigger hands, just make sure you like the feeling of a fingertip grip on that ergonomic shape. You do get 6 different programmable buttons on each of these mice, and these are using Razer's optical switches, so no worrying about debounce or double clicking issues with these. Before we talk any more about them, I'll go ahead and give you guys a sound test now. With both mice using the same switches, they do feel basically exactly the same, and there is very little to no pre-travel, but quite a bit of post-travel and mushiness in those front right or mouse 1 and 2 clicks there. Nothing horrible, and if you've used any of the Razer mouse, I feel like they're all the same. Every Razer mouse I've used has that post-travel issue. I don't know if it's just with the optical switches or how they design their clicks. It doesn't bother me personally, but if it's something you're sensitive to, definitely keep that in mind if you're gonna pick one of these up. Side buttons, definitely acceptable. A little bit of mushiness, a little bit of side-to-side play in there. Nothing out of line with other mice I've used though. And the only differences in buttons between them really is gonna be those side buttons with the Deathadder having those bigger, chunkier side buttons, which are easier to get with your thumb. And then also just a longer like DPI button on top, but I don't think that really matters to anyone. Just wanna point out the difference. Moving on to the bottom of these mice, these are both using 100% PTFE feet, which give a really nice consistent glide. The only difference is the Deathadder does have a split in the front of their feet, so there's left and right on the front of the Deathadder. Don't know why they decided to split it up in there, but it doesn't really affect my glide at all. I don't notice a big difference going from the Deathadder V2 Mini to the Viper Mini overall. These are both using the same sensor, which is a Pixar 3359 optical sensor, which gives you that DPI adjustment all the way up to 8,500 and can be changed in increments of 100 and set into different profiles in the Synapse software, then obviously adjusted with that DPI button on each mouse respectively. And in my time overall using both the Deathadder V2 Mini and the Viper Mini, using the same sensor on both of those again, no issues with it, super spot on. Overall, I do think both these mice are good. I just think the Deathadder Mini shape is what kills it for me. I think it just got lost in translation on being shrunk down because I absolutely love the full-size one. Just going down to a mini shape just does not work for it for me. I feel like it niches it down a lot though. I feel like for the people it's gonna work for, it's gonna work for really well. So if you're just happen to be someone that likes the feeling of a right-handed ergonomic mouse for a small shape, or if you have small hands or like that fingertip on it, then it's gonna be great for you. Just for, I feel like a wider range of people, I don't feel like it's gonna be the best. So if I had to recommend one over the other, I would say hands down the Viper Mini. With that ambi shape, I just feel like it opens up so much more possibilities for different hand sizes and different grip styles. I just feel it's more well-rounded overall, so I have to give it to the Viper Mini. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found the video helpful or informative, please do hit that like button for me and do consider subscribing for more content just like this in the very near future. As always, if you have any questions about either of these mice or my time or experience with using them, definitely let me know in the comments down below and I'll try my best to get back to you quickly and also with the best answer I can, and I'll see you guys in the next one.